All right, we're going to talk about lifelong fitness and how you can come up with an acronym here that will help you to remember things you need to do so you can stay consistently in health and exercise at the right rate. The first thing in FITT, as you'll see here, is we're going to talk about frequency. And frequency, it means how often you exercise per week. That's what the F stands for. And as a minimum, 3 times is what you need to remember, preferably more, because at 3 times, you actually don't improve, you just maintain, but you need to do at least 3 times of cardio activity to maintain your cardio. The same would apply towards flexibility and strength. You can apply the same concept, but for right now, we're just going to talk about the cardiorespiratory endurance part of FITT. Here are the questions that go along with this assignment. As we can see here, our first one, what does the F stand for? Does it stand for fun, fitness, frequency, or Spider-Man? Please don't pick this one. Yes, we just went over that, and it stands for frequency. Often kids pick fitness because they think it's PE. It's got to be fitness. No, we're trying to find out with a way for you to remember the things you need to do in life to keep in shape. And the frequency is the first thing, because if you only do it twice a week, you start getting worse. You go downhill, you regress. If you do it more than 3 times, you'll probably get in better shape. But the minimum is 3 to maintain. Next question, what does the I stand for? Ice cream, intensity, I do not pay attention, or individual. Easy one there, it's intensity. And now when you exercise, it is how hard you exercise. And how do we measure how hard somebody exercises? We measure that with your heart rate. How hard do you try? And the goal is that your heart rate is around, for middle schoolers, it's around 120 beats per minute or higher, but no higher than 180. So between 120 and 180, your minimum will be 120. The higher you go, the higher the intensity, the more you get out of it. But if you're above 180, you're doing a different type of exercise. You're working more for short-term anaerobic. We are talking about long-term cardio. Next one, number 3 here, FITT. What does the T stand for? There's 2 T's. Let's pick one. The only one here, it's time, not toothpaste, not tough, not cookie. Time, because it is how long you exercise. If you exercise with your heart rate at 150 beats per minute 3 times a week, but you only do it for 10 minutes, it's not enough. The minimum amount of time to maintain your fitness would be 20 minutes. Keep that in mind as general. You could do more than that, but that is your minimum, at least 20 minutes of exercise. Next one, number 4 here. What does the other T stand for? Track, trunk, Teletubbies, or type. It is type. It is what kind of activity you do. So for exercise, you want to pick something that you can do that involves heart and lungs. If you put down push-ups, that is not a good answer, because for cardio, can you do 20 minutes of push-ups? Probably not. Pick something you enjoy, something that you breathe hard when you do. That way you are improving your fitness. It is the type of activity, something that you can do for 20 minutes continuously and keep your heart rate up at least above 120 beats per minute. Number 5, frequency is the blank of times you work out per week. The lack, the amount, the dream, the effort. It's the amount of times you work out, because we want to make sure. And how much was that minimum? Do you remember for frequency? How many days per week to maintain would be 3. You can do more days if you want to improve, but to maintain, so you don't get worse, you want to at least do 3 times a week. That is your frequency. Intensity is how blank you work out, how often, how long, how hard, how crazy. The real answer there is how hard you work out. And if you may remember, how do we measure your intensity? It's how high your heart rate goes. And our goal is that your heart rate is 120 or higher, but no higher than 180 for 20 minutes. Next one, time is how blank you work out, how long, how often, how awkwardly, how hard. It is how long you work out. And what was that minimum again for time? It was 20 minutes. Next one, type. Type is what blank of activity you do, What time, what kind, what long, what often. Well, that's an easy one there grammatically to figure out, but it's what kind of activity. And right now we are talking about cardio. So it's an aerobic activity. It's something that you can do over a longer period of time. Next one, the minimum suggestion frequency is that we exercise. How often do we exercise? At least 3 times, 3 to 5 times per week. That would be our frequency. The suggested for intensity is how hard we work out. And well, this is 130 to 180. That's close enough there. 130 to 180 would be the answer. Next one, the suggestion for the type of activity we do. And now we're talking about cardio. So if you're doing cardio activity, it's an aerobic activity, a cardio aerobic activity, something that you can do for at least 20 minutes. And then finally, for FITT, what happens when you increase your intensity, how long you go for, the time, the type, you choose a hard activity and you do it at least 3 times a week. What happens to you when you increase those, you make them more, you burn more calories. So the more you do, the more calories you burn. And as far as weight loss goes, the more calories you burn, the more weight you lose off of your body, as long as you're not eating more to compensate for that. That is FITT. Hope you learned and enjoyed, and we'll see you next time.